episode 10. Here we are, episode 10 with the Unmuzzled Sports Podcast. We got a lot on this show tonight, folks. We got obviously college football dominating everything. We have NFL football. We have Stratford Warriors stuff to talk about. Their review for their games last week. Upcoming game with St. Mary's Lincolns. We got Chester as well. He's going to be talking about their huge wins over Chatham and their upcoming big game against Stratford. Then we're going to end up going over to Dave Graff on Chew on That. He's going to be talking about the Anarchy and minor hockey these days. So can't wait to get going. Here we go. Episode 10 of Unmuzzled Sports Podcast.
6 guys, 3 sports, no leash. This is the Unmuzzled Sports Podcast. Football, hockey, and baseball, the way it's meant to be. Loud, raw, and completely unfiltered.
Welcome back. We've got Ian Schenk and Brian Hawley. I'm Gary Ray. Welcome to episode 10 of the Unmuzzled Sports Podcast. We got a lot to cram into our show tonight, boys. How was the weekend, Halzer?
It was a quiet weekend. I'm fighting this bug, and of course the weather sucks. You know, I got to have a chat with somebody about this disproportionate snow. You know, like last week or so, I'm out there with the snowblower, and my buddy in Tilsonburg is mowing his grass. Like, what the fuck, man? Let's go. Everybody should get the snow, or nobody gets the snow. Otherwise, right? It's just not fair.
Yeah, Toronto's the same way. My daughter's going to school there, and she was saying how, Dad, we don't have any snow here in downtown Toronto. So, Schenker, how about you? You had your daughter's tournament in St. Thomas. How did that go?
Went pretty good until Saturday night, and then we lost in the shootout to get put out. Girls were devastated. And speaking of snow, St. Thomas has nothing.
Wow.
And I have some breaking MLB news right now. Pete Alonso, the winter meetings have started. Pete Alonso is driving up from his Tampa residence tomorrow to have in-person meetings with Baltimore and Boston, 2 of the favorites to land him.
Now, is Alonso just going to use them to get what he wants from the Mets, or do you think there is actually a chance he will leave this time? Because last time he was pulling Ohtani and Soto like they did with the Jays on him. So,
yeah, it says just reading here, it says the Red Sox are behind the Orioles with the Mets third. The Mets are third to sign him. I think it's just a bargaining chip.
Yeah, he doesn't want to leave New York, and they'll get crucified if they leave him.
That's got to pony up, though, man. They got away with the 1-year deal last year. They won't get away with that again. They got to sign him long term. If they're not ready to sign him long term, he will be gone.
Yeah,
but pretty ballsy for Alonso to say, you know what, I'm going to show up on Tuesday. Sign me if you want. If not, I'm going here. So
yeah,
ball's in his court. So
yeah, that's going to be interesting.
That's what we call leverage.
Exactly. Yep. All right, boys, let's get into trending. We'll have some words first from our sponsors with Best Western plus Arden Park Hotel, first class accommodations. Greg and Andrea Hayter, we appreciate them and their sponsorship.
This trending segment brought to you by Best Western Plus Arden Park Hotel, located at 552 Ontario Street, Stratford, located steps from the Festival Theatre, while offering first-class accommodations with an extensive range of services, including conference center, banquet facilities, and heated indoor pool.
What a great weekend for college football. Like, this is like they say, the best time of the year, right? Like October is great because you got all 4 sports on the go, but now is really good. You got the college football playoffs, you got the NFL getting down to who's going to make it and who isn't. So, Halser, I'll start with you. What did you watch on the weekend with the college games?
Well, I watched the big one, IU and OSU. I was at the Irish game there at about from 5:30 till about 8:30. I got home just in time to see the start of that OSU Indiana game, and oh man, what a slugfest that was! I'm old
Wasn't
school.
it?
I love defensive football. My kid played defense. I've got a natural love for it, and that was 2 defenses just getting after it all night long. It was high level, like 2 great quarterbacks, probably the 2 best in the country, arguably, maybe statistically as well. I'm not sure about that. 2 of the best defenses. It's somehow still IU is number 2 in the country. They have a Heisman favorite quarterback. They are
Fernando
undefeated.
Mendoza.
They're undefeated, and yet somehow they still felt like David versus Goliath.
Yeah.
OSU had that much swagger coming into the game, but it was pretty clear right away that IU wasn't messing around, and they threw some haymakers, and it was just 3.5 hours of, well, about 45 minutes of commercials, might I add. But between the 5-minute commercial breaks, that was one hell of a football game, dude. And meanwhile, you're trying to follow the Duke game that's going on at the same time, and that had maybe the craziest finish of the day, and you missed it because you're busy watching the big game.
Right. Yeah, Shankar, did you catch any of the games with in between your daughter's tourney?
Yeah, I got home right at 8 o'clock, and I said to the wife, I said, it's Ohio State and Indiana tonight. And I'm going to go back to last year near the end of the season when I don't know if it was Kurt Herbstreit talking about, and they said, for next year, the Big Ten is going to be competitive, Illinois and Indiana. And I didn't believe him. I thought, there's no way Indiana is going to be good next year. But wow, they are for real. And I'd love to see a rematch in a couple weeks of them and Ohio State again. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think there's going to be a major upset coming along the way here.
Well, it's unbelievable that how a coach has just turned around a program in 2 years.
Yes.
Like if you look at when Indiana hired coach Kurt Cignetti, he's turned the Hoosiers from a laughingstock Big Ten into a powerhouse. Like,
yeah,
you said it perfect, Halser, where it was a slugfest. They took on the number 1 team in the nation and did not look out of place. Like the quarterbacks went blow for blow. Cal transfer quarterback Fernando Mendoza, who I think if I'm not mistaken, secured the Heisman Trophy with that performance. He went 15-23 for 222 yards, 1 pick, 1 tutty. He just outlasted OSU quarterback Julian Sayin, who had a great game himself, 21-29 for 258. 1 tutty and 1 pick. They both had great ratings. Mendoza was 152 rating. Sayin was 151.6. It was neck and neck. Both defenses were amazing. Unfortunately, it was the Ohio State kicker again, missing that chip shot. And that takes you back to last year when he missed them with Michigan. And now all of a sudden, Ohio State is back in the exact same spot that they were last year, where they lost to Michigan 13-10, and all they did was run the table. I'm not saying they're going to do that, but they are not afraid to be in the position that they are going into the tourney as the number 2 seed. I just love this Mendoza kid. He's so electric. Did you guys hear his interview afterwards?
Oh, it was classic. But keep in mind, first play of the game, this dude almost got knocked the fuck out.
Exactly.
Okay, and let's just stop and mention, by the way, he gets pulled, and who comes in to replace the quarterback? His brother. It's like it's another Mendoza.
Unreal.
Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
His brother's the backup quarterback. I defy anybody out there in TV land to tell me a time where that has happened before. So they get rid of one Mendoza and they bring in the other one.
Yeah.
He played one play and back out came the other. I mean, that's nuts. The fact that his brother was the backup was maybe one of the biggest takeaways I had from the game. It's like, who in the hell has the dude's brother as the backup quarterback? That's crazy.
If you look at Indiana throughout this year, they only gave up over 15 points once, and that was to Penn State back in November. Everything else has been under 15 points. Like their defense is lights out.
Yeah, they are. They're the real deal.
Yeah.
And they're not number one by accident. What's interesting, though, is that everyone else is talking about the team not making the cut. Well, the two big teams not making the cut were BYU and Notre Dame. Nobody's really talking about BYU. But it's kind of interesting, though, that BYU is being penalized, being knocked out of the tournament. They were ranked number 12 before they went into the Big 12 championship game against Texas Tech, where they got smoked 34-7. So with them getting knocked out of the top 12, the committee is saying that put Notre Dame and Miami head to head, and they had to go with Miami because they beat Notre Dame in week 1. Then you've got Notre Dame taking their ball and bat and saying, well, that's it. We're not playing in any bowl games. And, it's interesting because I did some research because like in my head, I'm going, why don't you guys just join a conference, join the Big Ten? You're right there with Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, all those teams. The more I looked into it, it's interesting because they tried joining what used to be called the Western Conference way back in the early 1900s. And they tried to join and they ended up beating Michigan in 1909, and the Michigan coach got ticked off, and they refused to allow Notre Dame into what was then the Big Ten, was then called the Western Conference. And long story short, they got really good, and in the 80s became one of the biggest brands in all of college football, signed that huge TV deal with NBC that they still have, and that's why they don't want to go into any conferences, because they're one of the richest, if not the richest, university in the nation, because they don't have to share any TV revenues or bowl revenues. They don't have to share anything with any conference like all the other teams do in the nation. So it was interesting. I was very enlightened as to why, because I was like most people, why don't you just join a conference? One word, money. So,
yeah. And then I see today on Yahoo that there is a memorandum of understanding that is signed between the NC2A and Notre Dame.
Yeah.
That states that if Notre Dame, being an independent, is in the top 10, they automatically qualify for the playoff regardless of any of the conference champions or what have you. It doesn't matter. In this particular scenario, the frustrating thing for me is that Notre Dame is rated higher than a team that beat them. Okay, now it's not always the be all and end all, but when you've got two teams that are in the top 12 that are clearly elite level teams, how can you rate their team ahead of me when I beat them? What else do I have to do to prove to you that I'm the better team? So it's, to me, the whole situation is duplicitous, and I'll explain why. On one hand, you're saying that Notre Dame, through strength of schedule, is the better team than Miami. But head-to-head says Miami is the better team than Notre Dame. So when you do your weekly ratings, you rank Notre Dame ahead of Miami. But when it comes time to go to the playoffs, then you suddenly say it's Miami over Notre Dame, and that is bullshit. Yeah. Whether it's right, like whether they should be ranked higher or not, you are being duplicitous and telling people two different ways that you are rating teams. You're proving it right there, because yesterday Notre Dame was the higher ranked team, and today it's Miami. And how do you explain that off to somebody
without either team playing a game? That's the crazy part.
They were both off last week.
They were both off.
It's not like one got It wasn't like BYU, who got smoked in their conference championship game and turned off all the voters because they're all saying, well, what happens when they play another power conference team? They're going to get killed again. So they push them off to the side. But that wasn't the case with Miami. That wasn't the case with Notre Dame. It's always going to be this way. Somebody's going to get screwed on the way out. But the way they did the screwing, I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't care whether it's, you know what I mean? I just want the best 12 teams to be in there. I don't believe that's the case. James Madison is in there, but there's 3 teams in the Big Ten that could thump them.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? There's 3 teams probably in all 4 of the power conferences that could beat James Madison, and yet there they are in the playoffs.
They said last year after this, whatever, they said, oh, we're not going to take your conference wins or conference championships into effect for being ranked in the top 12. But then they put James Madison in there. Why?
Well, they won the Sun Belt Conference, and it's the same with Tulane. They won the American Conference, but come on, let's be honest.
That's fine for the madness when there's 68 teams in, but
exactly.
It doesn't count when you want the best 12 football teams.
Like I can make an argument for Tulane getting in, but James Madison, no way, man. Like I'd take Notre Dame, Vanderbilt, BYU over them any day.
Oh, for sure. Like right now, you've got James Madison, Tulane, who's ranked number 11. James Madison's ranked number 12. James Madison is plus 4,000. Tulane is plus 5,000. That makes no sense. So the bettors are going, no, Tulane should be ranked number 12. You've got that mixed up. But they've even got OSU is the favorite, the betting favorite at plus 250. Indiana, once again, no respect. They're plus 275. Then it goes to Georgia at number 3. They're plus 450. Texas Tech at 4. They're plus 900. And then even Oregon, they're plus 750 at number 5. But in my honest opinion, and not that it means a whole hill of beans, I think it's like a 3-horse race. I think you've got Indiana, OSU, and Georgia. It's going to be one of those 3 teams, 2 of those 3 teams playing for the Natty, and I don't know which one's going to win. I just hope that it's a good game because Georgia, lights out. They took down Alabama. They smoked them 28-7, and it's really dicey because you don't want to penalize teams playing in the conference championships, because if you get smoked like Alabama, you don't want to get knocked out. So teams will just go, you know what? I'm not going to play in the conference championship because I want to make sure I get into the 12-team playoff. So I get it that they don't want to put too much weight into it, but unfortunately, it's one of those things where you're really only dealing with the 4 big conferences that should be in the 12 teams: the Big Ten, the SEC, the ACC, and the Big 12. All the other ones, I'm sorry, unless you've had a lights out season playing against some powerhouse teams, I don't think you deserve to be in the top 12. But
what if? Can you imagine if Virginia would have won on Saturday night?
Oh my God! Yeah,
I would have thought if Virginia would have won, James Madison would be out. They would have put Virginia in at number 12.
Yeah.
But, I'm looking forward to a couple. Hoping Oregon and Indiana, they're going to meet again in the semifinals, and that's going to be a slobber knocker again.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's really good. Well, like I said at the beginning, it's a great time of year with all of these games. It just sucks. I think it's up to like 8 or 10 teams now that are not declining to go and play in bowl games, which sucks. Like now, with the college playoffs, the way that it is now, these bowl games are really meaningless, and people just want to watch the games with the top 12. I get it, but unfortunately, you've got these stadiums that were prepared to host a game. They've sold tickets.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how they alter things going forward for next year. So
there was 10 teams that dropped out, and only 3 of the teams were 500 or better: Kansas State, Iowa State, and Notre Dame. The other teams are all like 5-7. Yeah, they're all 5-7.
Well, the Big 12. Did you guys hear about the Big 12 fining Iowa State and Kansas State $500,000 for refusing to go to the bowls? And they were saying it's because of injuries and they've got coaching changes and blah, blah, blah.
Well,
but
let's keep it real. I mean, these games mean jack shit.
yeah,
They mean absolutely nothing.
yeah.
The the Chico's Bail Bonds Salad Bowl played in Tempe, Arizona.
Bad news bears, Chico's bail bonds.
Between 6 and
Kelly
6
Lee.
Macadamia and University of Lewiston Technical. Also at 5 and 8. Like, who gives a like? It's a football game, but don't put
Exactly.
lipstick on it and say it ain't a pig. It's
Yeah.
just a football game that you dreamed up. Remember that movie Semi-Pro? It's the Flint Mega Bowl. Fourth place. They mean nothing.
And they
So
don't
I
even
don't care. I don't
they
care
don't
about
even
any
sell
team
out
that
anymore.
doesn't want to play, right? Who cares? These things are finally being showed out as games that don't mean anything other than commercials and money for a meaningless game and maybe a 3 or 4 day vacation for the families of the players. Otherwise, boo-hoo, who cares?
Like when you can't sell out a stadium, you're only selling out the bottom bowl because nobody else wants to go. The NCAA has a problem here.
Yeah.
Either let 4 more teams into this playoff, or they got to do something.
Well, it's going to end up
like
being
said,
that big, right? Because it's the only thing that's going to make any money, and eventually it's going to be 32 teams. You watch in 10 years or 12 years, it's going to be the top 32, and we're going to start playing first week in November, and it'll go on right through to the new year like usual. I mean, let's face it, they take a month off, 5 weeks sometimes between games.
Yeah.
There's room for more playoffs. I know the kids have school, but honestly,
do they?
Yeah. Well, they're on break. Like, I think school's done. School's pretty much done with the American Thanksgiving. They just kind of go through the motions, I think, for the most part. But
not only that, the guys who have signed the $1 million NILs, are they really showing up for class every day?
Yeah.
Come and
Exactly. All right, boys. Let's get into some end zone and fantasy with TNT Security, where security meets reliability. Call Todd Schmidt today.
End Zone and Fantasy. Brought to you by TNT Security, Inc., where security meets reliability. Call Todd Schmidt today for a security quote on your concert, dance, sporting, and alcohol event, business, property, or mobile patrol security.
Oi.
Yeah, we had to get rid of that song. Unfortunately, we got flagged, folks, for playing TNT by AC/DC, so we had to come up with a new song. So thanks to Max Smith and Small Town Strip Club for allowing us to use their music as intros and with our commercials. So big shout out to our 2 friends, Max Smith Band and Small Town Strip Club. Okay, getting into end zone and fantasy. I'll start with you, Shanker. Did you see any of that Bills Bengals thing with your daughter's tournament?
What a game! Like
unbelievable.
I was home yesterday. The couch held me down all day, and what a great game that was. And I think I don't know which one of you guys brought it up about Josh Allen never beating Joe Burrow, but
yeah,
I'm glad the Bills did, because that's a huge win with KC losing last night. But how good is Josh Allen?
He's a beast.
He's MVP again.
Another 4 TDs, 3 passing, 1 rush, 22 of 28 for 251 yards, no picks, 139.7 rating. But Joe Burrow, folks, he was lights out too with 4 TDs. He was in total control of the game until he had a brain fart there in the 4th quarter and had back-to-back picks. But he was 25 of 36 for 284. Unfortunately, those 2 picks, one was the pick 6. They killed him. They brought the Bills and the crowd back to life.
Well, I don't think it was Joe Burrow's fault. I think it was just the strong Bills defensive line there.
The first one,
a big play.
The first interception looked like it slipped out of his hand. Is that what you saw, Halser, or what did you see?
It looked like a shot put. I'm not sure, because he knew the blitz was on, the corner blitz was on, which had Jamar wide open, and he didn't even take time to cock the ball. He just shot putted it right out, thinking he'd get Jamar, and he was gone. Because you get, Jamar, you get him out in open field, and that could have been the end of the game right there.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, he didn't take the time, or didn't think he had the time to fully properly cock the ball. And he just kind of limped it out there, come out like a dead fish. And then once again, Benford, with who is, I read for sure, I thought so, but I found out today, is the first Buffalo Bill defender to ever go back-to-back games with a score.
Unreal.
He had to scoop and score after the Bosa sack last week against Rodgers.
Rodgers and the Steelers, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So what an incredible game. And I tell you what, if Joe Burrow could actually stay healthy.
Oh, so good to watch.
Is he the best quarterback in the NFL? He was unstoppable. I tell you what, Buffalo's played them 4 times. 3, like everybody now seems to forget about that one time they only played the first quarter. But even then, with that early stoppage to the game, he marched his team down and scored a touchdown right at the start of that game.
In a blizzard.
He has been, in the DeMar Hamlin game.
Oh, in that game, in Cincinnati.
Like everybody remembers that ending, but he marched them down on the first drive and scored right away, and was on his way down to score another when DeMar went down. And he has just simply owned Buffalo right up until he did whatever the hell that was when he gave it to Benford for a pick 6.
Yeah.
He has absolutely owned Buffalo every single time he's taken the field. He dominated Buffalo in the playoff game three years ago, or 3 years ago, I think it was.
Yeah, 3.
Like, that was the one year. Everybody thought that was the year we were going to win because they weren't playing the Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
They got to play somebody other than the Chiefs. And then Joe Burrow comes in and just schooled them. And so up until that point, that was the shocker to me in that game, is that Joe Burrow had been clinical in his dissecting of the Buffalo defenses every single time he played them. And then they got a lucky break with the tip ball. I think I'm not sure who it was inside there that tipped the ball.
Yeah.
But it dropped right in the arms of Greg Rousseau, right? Or was it Epinesa? One of the ends. And boom, you could just feel it. And then Josh put his cape on and said, I know you like watching Joe, but watch this. He said, hold my beer. I'm going to run a 45-yard touchdown pass and break the record for longest touchdown pass by a quarterback, which, of course, was his own record that he broke. So, those two guys going at each other, I hope to hell Joe Burrow can stay healthy. I was his biggest fan when he was at LSU. That is still the single best offense I have ever seen in college football. When he and Jamar went off at LSU, they were, if you were going to watch an LSU game, you had to catch the start, because if you didn't watch it until halftime, it was over. It was 35-0 at the half every single week, right up to the national championship game. It was like 28-7. So I hope that guy stays healthy and actually plays 17 games. And I am thankful as hell he ain't in my division.
Right.
Cincinnati has a 750 win percentage when they have Joe Burrows healthy.
Yeah, that's the key.
Yeah.
They were 7 for 8 on third down at one point. They couldn't get off the field. It was 3rd and 11, 3rd and 7, 3rd and 9, over and over and over. And Joe just goes, yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
And then he dropped that dime to T. Higgins on the second touchdown.
With the one hand.
No, the one before that, the one in the second quarter. That was just a prayer. Like the last one was just a prayer because they had the corner blitz on again. But that dime he dropped to Higgins at the other end zone in the second quarter, that was what a throw, man. In the snow and the wind, and he's dropping dimes. Beautiful to watch.
What weapons he's got. He's got Chase on one side and Higgins on the other. Like, wow.
Gesicki's a good tight end, although I'm glad they lost after that stupid little dance he was doing after the touchdown he scored.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that dude shows off every time he catches the ball, every single time. He used to be with Miami, man. I remember him.
I was kicking myself because in one of my fantasies, I'm neck and neck, and if I lose, like this weekend, I could be out of the top tier playoffs in my fantasy. So I sat Chase Brown because I thought, oh man, it's snowing in Buffalo. It's going to be tough for him to get traction. Yeah, he only had like 2 TDs. Probably had I think he had 18 or 19 points. But I got Saquon going for me tonight, so I need Saquon to have a good game. I know it's the Chargers. I know, but Sirianni's taken back over the play calling, so I'm like, you know what? I got to go with my gut. Let's give Saquon a flyer here. So
no win tonight.
Yeah,
That dude cost me playoff spot in my pool.
yeah, he's had a terrible year.
When you're thinking about playing Aaron Jones ahead of Saquon Barkley, that's how bad it's been. I seriously considered this week. And last week, I seriously considered it, and Jones ended up getting like 8 points. And I went, well, good thing I didn't start him. And then Barkley gets, what did he get? 6 points.
Yeah.
It's just been a shit show. Everybody knows what's going on in Philadelphia, dude. And it's not the coach, it's the quarterback. That dude runs the same 5 or 6 plays every single game. You watch them tonight, man. They'll play the same 6 to 8 plays all night long.
Well, and they've got a lot of dysfunction too. Like you've got AJ Brown. I've talked about him. He's the most selfish wide receiver in the whole league. Like when they were, I think they were like 8-2, and he was complaining about not getting the ball, and the owner had to come in and step in and have a word with him. What happens? He starts getting all these targets, and I think he put up like 32 points the next weekend. And
10 for 130 and a touchdown. Yep.
Yeah, and Devonta Smith, he's just like, whatever. If the team wins, like he's just such a class act compared to what AJ Brown is. But let's get into the AFC division leaders. The number 1 seed, you've got Denver retaking the number 1 seed. They're 11-2.
How about that ending yesterday?
Yeah, that was huge.
They've pissed a lot of people off.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, Dave Portnoy's been losing it on social media for them kicking the field goal and costing them. So, but New England, they're the number 2 seed at 11-2. Jacksonville, they're starting to heat up. They're the number 3 seed at 9-4. Pittsburgh, they retake the North Division at 7-6 with that win yesterday over Baltimore. In the wild card, you got Buffalo's the number 1 seed at 9-4. The Chargers are number 2 at the moment at 8-4, and then you got Houston moving up to 8-5. They've taken over the 3rd spot with Indy, who is in total collapse mode with Danny Dimes blowing out his ACL yesterday. So their season's pretty much over. Looking over in the
Remember
NFC.
when they were 7-1 and everybody thought they were the best team in football?
Exactly.
Averaging 6.5 yards per play on first down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you play teams under 500. And I feel bad for Indiana Jones. He's on a 1-year contract, and now he's done.
Yeah.
You thought he was going to get his Darnold deal.
Yes.
Darnold got 3 years, $100 million. Everybody thought he was bad. He's going to get paid. He's going to get rich. And then this, I really do feel bad for him because he was doing everything right to get his Darnold deal, to get 3 for $100 million. Easily would have got that money. And that's cheap for a quarterback, $33 million. Ask the Chiefs or the Bills or the Bengals or, the Dolphins.
Oh my God. Like, I feel bad for Indy fans because they went out at the trade deadline and they got Sauce Gardner. He's out with a calf injury. They gave up, multiple first rounders to get him. You got Jones now out for the year. He won't be back until next year. Like, it's
just fantasy impact there is huge because everybody thought they'd won the lottery when they picked the running back, Taylor. In the 3rd round, 4th round, whatever, like whenever you got him, and depending on how many guys are in your pool, like he doesn't go probably before 25 or 30, and he's RB1 by a mile. Now his quarterback goes down, and he's had 3 straight games. But I mean, hey, I'm 5-9 this year. 2 of my losses were because Jonathan Taylor ate my goddamn lunch. I had to tell him off here on the show a few weeks ago. What do you have, 50 fantasy points? That's huge. When you're thinking like our leader in our league, you're going into fantasy thinking, I'm down. I got this. I'm going to win the belt. I'm going to win all the money because I got Jonathan Taylor. All of a sudden, he ain't like last year's Saquon Barkley anymore, is he?
No. All right. NFC division leaders. You've got the Rams retaking the number 1 seed with their win yesterday. They're at 10-3. Green Bay with their huge win over the Bears. They're the number 2 seed at 9-3-1. Philadelphia, they're still the number 3 seed at 8-4. Tampa Bay, somehow, luckily, the rest of the South is terrible, so they're still at number 4 with 7-6. The top 3 wild card seeds, Seattle's number 1 at 10-3. My Niners are number 2 at 9-4, and then you got Chicago. They dropped from number 1 all the way down to number 7. With that loss yesterday. So they're at 9-4 with the number 3 seed in the wild card. And then in the hunt, you've got Detroit sniffing around at 8-5. Carolina and Dallas, I don't really see them doing it, but it's going to be interesting.
Hey, if Tampa keeps shit in the bed here, Carolina's going to get that division.
Yeah, you're going to see Mayfield. Mayfield's going to get it together. Ibuka, he dropped that gift
wide open
yesterday that would have won him the game, but
but they're a 500 football team, and they prove it every week. You know what I mean? One week they look like they could win the Super Bowl, and the next week they don't look like they could beat the Giants.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Giants, down at the other end of the spectrum, what a week for the Giants. They're on bye week, and they went from 3rd overall pick to 1st overall pick because the 2 teams below them both won their game.
Yeah.
So now, just by taking the week off, the Giants suddenly in position to get they can lose out and get the number 1 overall pick. And considering they already have their quarterback, what are they going to get in return for trading the number 1 overall pick? They're going to get a huge package for that from some team that is looking for their quarterback, and they're going to get their 1st rounder and next year's 1st rounder, and they're going to break bank on this deal, man. That is huge for the Giants because, like I said, they don't need a quarterback. They've already got their guy.
No, that's right. Yeah, Dart's doing great with them.
Love Dart.
So, yeah.
Did you guys see the ending of the Cleveland game where they went for the 2-point conversion and they left Sanders on the sidelines?
Yeah,
and he's not on, right? Like the play.
What are you doing? Like,
well, it was hilarious because Judkins forgot what the play was. He was supposed to hand it off. And he hung on to it and then went, oh, shit, I was supposed to hand that off on the reverse. Yeah. And it was just a mess. But, Shadur had a great game, threw for over 300 yards, and he's been named the starter for the rest of the year. So, good on him. But, all right, boys, we've got Clarko waiting in the wings. I'll let you guys go have a little break, and I'll be back with Jason Clark with Buzzin' with Clarko.
Buzzin' with Clarko, a weekly roundup of the Stratford Warriors with Jason Clark, brought to you by Nick Hishin of Indy Mortgage, the independent mortgage company serving customers from coast to coast with access to well over 50 lending options available. Give Nick a call as he works for you, not the banks. FISRA license number 12403.
Yes, guys.
How are you?
Good, Clarko. How are you, brother?
Very good. And I'm just overly impressed with your backdrop tonight, and maybe even more so to reflect on those tracksuits Tommy Nigro's got on in the background. Is that Diego on the other end?
Vitello, yeah. And then above Denny is, God rest his soul, Leo Uniacke. He was a legend too.
What a crew. Yeah.
They were. Here I am at 16 coming into this team, not knowing what the hell we were walking into. Yeah. Walked into a team 56-4-1, and just one of the best years of my life, not only hockey wise, but for fun and just guys getting along. I felt like we were the Toronto Blue Jays. The way the Jays got along in the playoffs, that's the way that team was.
Yeah.
We had fun together, we won, and it was just a great year to be alive, man.
Well, yeah, when you have that type of chemistry and culture in your dressing room, then things on the ice seem to take care of themselves, right?
Yeah, we had a great mix of 21-year-olds. We had, here, I'll get out of the way, but we had Walt Morris, our 5-year captain.
Oh, yeah.
Got him there. And then Coach Dennis Flanagan Jr. and then Terry Uniacke. It was just a great setup, and it all started with Walt Morris, and his leadership just permeated. Emerson was one of the assistants, Warren Bullock, and they all just made us young guys, Sean Heafy, Pat Murray, myself, Jamie Petrie, all feel welcome, and we're always invited and never felt left out at any point in time. So
yeah, that's maybe even more important than what happens on the ice, right? The off-ice stuff is so good, and the team is such a collective that, like I said earlier, the on-ice product just looks after itself because the guys want to come to work and work when they're there, and as a coaching staff, you almost have to hold the group back. I remember my first year coaching in Stratford, and when we won the Cherry Cup there with Jared Nash and Tyson Baker and all those boys, like that was like cracking the barn door and watching them just run out on the ice, right? Like you didn't have to motivate one guy in that team any night at the rink. And all the teams that I've had success with over the years was the same feeling, right? Just a great team chemistry and atmosphere around the rink.
Yeah, you're very blessed when you catch lightning in a bottle because you can't manufacture that. Guys that don't get along, like you look at what happened there in Vancouver with I forget the two guys, but
Peterson and Miller.
Yeah, and they ended up trading JT Miller, just because he could not, deal with Peterson, and you just get blessed. Like I said, when you catch lightning in a bottle and everyone's rowing in the same direction, it just makes your guys' jobs a heck of a lot easier. Denny knew we were staying out till 3 a.m., but he didn't care because he knew we were going to put 8 on the board the next morning anyways, or the next afternoon. Right. So
yeah, for sure.
You got to know when to give them leash and know when to pull them back. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So like to see the hat you got on. I got my jersey on. This is, I don't know if you can see the A very well, but it's Ryan Scampanello's jersey from 2000, the 25th anniversary. I remember I was working down at the Almond, and John Mavity was in the dressing room, and he said, "Hey, Razor," he said, "You interested in any jerseys?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "Those are sharp jerseys this year, Mav, with the 25th anniversary." And so I ended up buying Ryan Scampanello's, but
fantastic. Yeah, this is the toque that I got that year that we were coaching. My first year in Stratford. So
nice.
Stayed in the tickle trunk for all this time. So
well, I told everyone to put on their Warriors and Lincolns gear because we got a lot to talk about.
Big week.
We got a big game there Thursday night. I've been putting out polls on our socials. I want to see what people think. I'm asking people who you got. You got the Warriors, or you dubbed them the Legend Killers, the Lincolns, after they took down Cambridge Redhawks, the undefeated Cambridge Redhawks. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that. But before we get into you guys in the Lincolns Thursday, tell us about your week with. You went to St. Thomas there last Wednesday and took them down 3-1. And how did that game go, Clarko?
Yeah, another really good game. I think I feel like I'm repeating myself every week when I talk about these teams in the West because every night seems to be a battle, and nothing different or short of that again in St. Thomas. We did carry a great bulk of the play. We put over 60 shots on net that night.
Oh, that's 61. 61-22 you outshot them.
Yeah. So, we were doing a lot of really good things, but, the game didn't stretch out goal-wise. It was a very tight game, and at different points, St. Thomas came on and carried the play as well. So just another really good, tight game in our division, and thankfully we came out on the right side of it, and I think a lot of that goes to our guys just staying with it and coming at the other team in waves continually for 60 minutes and being able to put up 20-plus shots a period will usually get you on the right side of things at the end of 60 minutes. So,
yeah, you were saying how it was a real goalie duel. Like you've got you guys, it was two former OHL goalies. The Stars got Will Camputero, 6'6", played with the Sioux Greyhounds. In 6 games with the Stars, he's got a .953 save percentage. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, he's committed to the University of Nebraska
He is, yeah.
27, 28. So he's got a couple years, but he's going to be going to them. And then you guys, Noah Bender matched him, made 21 or 22 saves for a .955 save percentage. Used to play for the Flint Firebirds. So it's nice when you're running into a hot goalie like you did with Camputero, that you've got Bender back there making equal saves for you.
Yeah, for sure. It's we think we can match pretty much anybody in the league there each and every night. And that was a night, two guys that have lots of experience and really, really good pedigree on both of them. And they battled real hard all night for each of their own teams. And like I said, thankfully, we were the team that put 60 up. I wouldn't want our goalies ever to have to face that many, but we'll see what happens.
Well, I look at the numbers. You guys had over 100 shots at the goalies there on the weekend. But before we get into Friday nights, just quickly, Curtin had your opening goal at 124, the second unassisted. And then Kipfer put you guys ahead when it was 1-1. He put you guys ahead for good at 11:03 of the third from Green and Blake. And then you had Fonger with an empty netter. So great game. That was a nice win for you guys after a long drive on a snowy night to St. Thomas. And then
a couple of really good goals. Joey, both our goals were 4-on-4, actually.
Okay.
There's a play along the wall. Joe Curtin poked the puck loose and then sprinted from our blue line. Got in on a bit of a breakaway, scored a real nice goal over the glove of St. Thomas goaltender there. And then Greener, it was a rush play, and Quinn scored off the rush, but Greener made a really nice play stopping up just after he cut in over the blue line and got the puck over to Quinn, and it was a good catch and release that beat the goalie on the blocker side. And then, Fonger chipped in late when they had the goalie pulled, running the fire drill at our end with the goalie pull at the end, trying to get their goal back, but we were able to pull it out.
Oh, that's great. So you start the weekend off with 2 points there, and then you had Sarnia Legionnaires, who have had a tough season coming in at 0-24 on the season. You have a big 7-2 win, and their goalie too, Zach Irwin, he played really well. They just picked him up last week from Kamoka, and it looks like Connor Davis isn't with them anymore, and decided to take a leave of absence from the team. But Zach Irwin stepped in, and he held the fort against you guys in the first period. And so until they were actually ahead at one point, 1-0. But what did you see on Friday night? Yeah.
You know what? First off, I just want to take a second to wish Connor Davis all the best. So I'm not sure why Connor has left the team, but I know he's a great young man, and he's had a tough go this year, bouncing through a couple of teams. So I'm really hopeful that everything's good with Connor, and I wish him nothing but the very best. And for Zach, I have a bit of a personal relationship with him. During the COVID year, I actually coached the Bantam team in Stratford here with Devin DiDiamini. He was off because his season was down for a bit, and Dougie Grenestage and Ronnie White and Scotty Siebert, and I'm probably forgetting somebody else here. But Zach played for Stratford for a couple of years as a goaltender here. He was on the outs with Elgin Middlesex for a couple of years, and then he made AAA after that and had a real good run there. And he's had a tough time in the league too. He's bounced through a few teams and never found a real home, but he was really good Friday night. They were up 1-0 after the first period, after we badly outshot them. But we ended up getting 7 by him, and another night that we put over 60 on net. But he had 56 saves, I think, on Friday.
56 of 63. He made some unbelievable saves. He was the reason why it wasn't double digits for you guys.
Yeah. I really, I think it's a constant here each week too. We talk about goaltending in the league. I think it's really, really good. There hasn't been a team where, I even think back to the night we had Welland in here, and that I believe his last name was Moore, played for Welland that night, and he was unreal as well. So I think goaltending throughout the entire league, whether you're in the East or West, it's really, really good in the GOHL this year.
Yeah, it's definitely at a premium, and I see that both the East and West players of the week are both goalies.
Yeah.
Brock Grind from Waterloo Siskins, and then I forget the gentleman's name there in the East. He's from Fort Erie, but both goalies. So the GOHL is pumping out goalies left and right, folks. So you want to see some good tending, come down and watch some games.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so big game coming up Thursday night at the PRC Center, and you and I have been laughing and joking around on the group chat, calling them legend killers.
Yeah.
What are the boys saying, and what are you thinking for Thursday night?
I think our group's just really excited about the opportunity. It's been a while before we get to play St. Mary's this year, right? We're already a few months in here.
Yeah.
Over the 20-game mark, and we haven't seen them yet. And it's always a fantastic atmosphere, no matter where we're playing, right? Whether we're in Stratford or St. Mary's.
Mm-hmm.
They're a team that we're chasing, and I think we know we're going to get their best game, and it's going to be a great atmosphere over there at the PRC Thursday night. So, it's a really good week for us. I was talking to our GM tonight at practice, and I just talked about, I think it's a really good opportunity this week with, we have 2 spotlight games. We play both other teams in Perth County, and then we have the Nats in here on Friday night as well. So it's almost like a playoff week for us that we get to test ourselves in December. 3 games, real important games with real good atmospheres. 3 games in 4 nights. So we're really looking forward to the week. Obviously, lots of bragging rights on the line here with playing St. Mary's and Listowel, both Perth County teams that we always draw well against no matter where we play, and teams don't like each other. So I expect nothing but great hockey from each team, and we'll see what happens.
Well, it's going to be very well received. I would assume that there's going to be a lot of Stratford people, even though it's a Thursday night. I would expect the PRC to be filled to the rafters. You've got, like you said, you've got St. Mary's Thursday in St. Mary's, at home Friday against the Nationals, and then on Sunday afternoon at 4:30, you guys got the Cyclones, like you said, another spotlight game, but you've got an alumni game on too before that. What's going on with that with the Warrior alumni?
We do, yeah. It's I believe 2:00 is the alumni game. So there'll be lots of guys back. I think there's 2 teams playing. Jamie Nigro has really taken this on and set it all up with our past president here with the hockey club, and he has a great passion for everyone that's ever wore the logo here in Stratford, and does a great job connecting with guys. And so it's going to be an afternoon of Warriors in and around the rink, and hopefully we can get them all to stick around and stay and watch the game here. But it'd be great to see some old faces and some familiar faces back in the rink again. It's always great to see the guys back, and I think they enjoy bouncing around the room. And anytime we can do an alumni game and a home game on the same day, it's just great to have everybody together and have the current guys mingle with some of the older guys milling around the room down in the hallway there. And like I said, it's always great to have the alumni back in the rink and chatting and telling stories, and because nothing's changed, right? It's all the same room that guys have been dressing in for years. Maybe a couple paint jobs, but it's the same area and the same atmosphere. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, we're waiting to hear back from Colin Honfeld if he's going to come down, but
I hope so.
A bunch of texts, guys laughing, saying that was hilarious, us talking about him last week on the show, but
well, just think of all the shows you could do on the alumni.
Oh, my goodness. Well, what I want to do is, and I think I've talked about it on our group chats, is in the new year, our 85-86 team that you see back behind us that won the All-Ontario, it's going to be our 40th anniversary, and we're going to have a reunion in July of 2026. And so I've already been talking with Jamie Nigro and a bunch of the guys with the organization. We're going to do something, and we've got Nelson Emerson and a lot of the guys, Warren Bullock, a lot of guys committed to coming, and shout out to Greg and Andrea Hayter at the Arden Park Best Western. They're giving us some great rates. It's smack dab right in the middle of theater season when we're having our golf tournament. And so they cut us a great deal to have the guys that are coming from out of town for that special event. But
that's fantastic. If only we could, if you could get the Kent and the Limelight to reopen.
Right. 10-cent drafts at the Kent Hotel. So yeah, those were the days, definitely.
Well, that's fantastic that you get a good group of those guys back, and everybody on here listening that's done anything. It's always great to get together with buddies from the past where you've shared some time, and us here talking about sports and mostly hockey. The time you spend together in the rooms in junior hockey, it goes by so fast, and it's some of the best times of your life. And, you still tell stories to today, or when you see each other, you reconnect like you were in the dressing room 35, 40 years ago. Right. So it's great to see that that's happening. And I'm real glad that the guys are going to come back.
Yeah, thank you. It's we've got a group chat on WhatsApp, and the guys are all joking around. Yeah, after we golf, then we'll go down to Rumors and Eddie's and just guys carrying on. And I think off of that team we had 8 or 9 guys drafted pro, and I think 11 or 12 of them went to D1 Scullies. So it was just an absolute powerhouse team.
Yeah.
But
what a great experience.
Yeah. To this day, Nelson Emerson, he's the director of player development with the Los Angeles Kings. And then Scott Rex, you can see him there. He's a scout with the LA Kings as well. So just a great group of guys. We were very blessed to catch lightning in a bottle that one season.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So just quickly before I let you go, you guys we'll just quickly do the power rankings. As I always say, they're a week behind. The new ones are going to be coming out tomorrow, December 9th. These ones are from last week, November 30th. You've got Cambridge, no change at number 1, St. Catharines at number 2, Chatham at 3, Elmira at 4, you guys at 5, and then St. Mary's is at 6. And then points wise, Chatham's got 45 points, Elmira at 41, St. Mary's at 38, London at 38, you guys at 35, and Waterloo at 32. And then you guys still have 7 games in hand on Chatham to make up those games. And then you've got 4 games in hand on the Lincolns. So
yeah, we got lots of games to play here in the last 2.5 months of the season. So, it's really important that we do what we can against these teams that are ahead of us. Like a really big week that we talked about earlier here. We're chasing London and St. Mary's in the points, standing in the division, and we're not making up any games because we're playing each other this week. So a couple really important games for us. And both those teams are playing really, really well. I think, the Lynx are 4 or 5 in a row. I think London's won 5 in a row as well. And Listowel's been playing really well too lately. Mm-hmm. So, it's not going to be an easy week, but this is a really, really good test and a measuring stick for us to see where we are. Even though we have some games in hand, we'll learn a lot from this week, good, bad, and ugly. And we'll just tweak and move on from there to see how things go.
Well, we're looking forward to it. You guys are going into St. Mary's there on Thursday. Then you've got St. Mary's coming back next month in January. And then you split. You do a home and an away in February. So it's going to be very, very exciting times.
Yeah. It's selfishly, that game is going to be a first responder night for us. With St. Mary's in here. So I say selfishly because of, the job I do and the place I work, we look after both Stratford and St. Mary's. So think it's a really nice touch to have first responders in on a night when, I know we're going to draw real well having St. Mary's in. So looking forward to putting a bit of a spotlight on them before the game, and then they're going to all enjoy a really, really good hockey game, no doubt.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward. Two of the hottest teams in the GOHL Western Conference, you guys in the St. Mary's Lincolns. Clarko, thank you so much for coming on. As always, we appreciate your input, and good luck on Thursday. We'll see you over at the PRC.
Yeah, thank you very much. I look forward to it. I can't wait, and there'll be lots to chat about next Monday too.
Exactly. I think we're going to do you and Chester together and just go over the game from Thursday night. So
might have to do it at job site in a wrestling ring.
Exactly. All right, Jason Clark, Director of Hockey Ops with the Stratford Warriors. We'll be back with Chester's Perch and Chris Chessel in just a moment.
You can't put a price on a good time. Chester's Perch, the Lincolns Report, brought to you by the Boathouse Stratford, located at 30 York Street. Come see us down at the Avon River for pedal boats, kayaks, canoes, Juliet boat tours, and bike rentals. Enjoy great food and ice cream at the Riverside Patio Restaurant. Pet friendly and operated by the Herr family since 1965.
Yes, Guy, look at this. Chris Chessel. Chester's in the house. Repping the green.
Looking good, Chester.
It's not bad. Razor, that's not bad. You got to remember, I grew up in Stratford, so I bled red, white, and blue for a lot of years. So it's all good.
You're torn. You're torn. So
yeah, a little bit. Not too much.
Awesome. Well, Chester, you guys ran the gauntlet and came out, I wouldn't say unscathed, but huge 6 points. You had a warm up there on Thursday with Sarnia, waxed them 7-0, and then back-to-back wins over the Chatham Maroons, Friday in St. Mary's, and then Sunday in Chatham. My goodness, where do we start with you guys?
Well, we'll get Sarnia out of the way first. Went down there, just took care of business, got the 2 points that we should have got. Bit of a quiet first period. Just got one in the first there. But after that, as expected, I think the Lincolns just wore them down. Sarnia obviously having a tough go. So
being winless this year. And then Von Barr got the shutout.
Yep, his second shutout, I believe, this year. Yep. Yeah, we outshot him 55-23. Alzinga had a hat trick, which was great to see as well. He's starting to give us a lot of help offensively in the last 5-6 games. So
natural Hattie.
It was, yeah. Second to the third. Carried it right through, which was nice. Ethan Weir scored the first goal of the game for us in the first period. That was the only marker. And then, we outshot him 55-23. Good win. Off back to the PRC Friday night.
Yeah,
little Western Conference rematch. Chatham came into town. We knew this was going to be a good game. First period, I found it was a little sloppy. I think both teams were just kind of maybe overthinking it or just feeling each other out a bit. But it was only, I think, 9 to 8 in shots or something like that for the first period. It wasn't a real great period. And then we got a late goal in the third by, again, Ethan Weir. He 2 games in a row got the first goal of the game for us. And that's great to see. I think I mentioned it last week. Really need him to help us out offensively, and he's starting to really pull the trigger now. So, he just came down the right-hand side of the ice, I believe, and he put up a pretty strong wrister over the blocker side of de Blasi, and probably one de Blasi would want back.
But definitely.
It got the emotion going. It got the arena alive and got him into the game after about 15, 16 minutes of kind of blah hockey. It kind of got things focused. And then, we had a penalty, and the Maroons had a power play goal shortly after that. Beautiful goal by Carter Chadwick, an absolute laser over the glove of Brogan. So it was a battle, those first couple goals, right? And then, a couple minutes later, we we went up 2-1. Beautiful goal by Devin Colebrook. It was about a 3-on-2. The Lynx came down, and I was just yelling at them to stop making that extra pass. And this is one of those situations where they made the extra pass, and it was absolutely gorgeous. The final.
It was lucky to get by. I'm glad you brought that up because I thought McDougall, he's going to shoot it here, and then he ended up making that beautiful pass to Colebrook, and then on Colebrook's next goal, it was great passing again with
the same
Vortman
thing,
to him, and the same thing happened in Stratford on Friday night, where I think it was Kipfer, if I'm not mistaken. He was right in the lane, had a clear shot on the Sarnia goalie. No, I'm going to backhand pass it over to Jonas, and that was Jonas's second goal of the night. But hey, it worked out for Colebrook and for Jonas. So who are we to argue? But guys, don't be afraid to take the shot when you got that clear lane. So.
Yeah. Well, Vortman had no choice. De Blasi came right out at him. He's about 5 feet out of the crease, and Vortman had nowhere to go, so he made the right play, which was good to see. And Colebrook, 2 big goals for him in that game. And that chased De Blasi out of the game, actually, which I was shocked. 3-1 Lynx, and they went to the Finnish goaltender. I'll try and get his name right. Vinjami Kukola. Kukola, I believe is his name. Yes, I hope he likes soft drinks.
He had the save of the night. That glove save down by Halser.
Yeah, that was a beauty.
It was bang, bang play, pass from behind the net, and Hodkinson had nothing but net to stare at, and Kukola just flashed the leather and snared it out. Like, great save on Hodkinson, who's like, I don't know if there's a hotter player in the league right now with Ryan Hodkinson, the way that he's lighting things up. So,
yeah, he's doing well. Yeah, so then I think it was Lincoln Moore came down on a breakaway. We're up 3-1. He comes down on a breakaway. Kukola makes a nice save, but the rebound was right back to Moore's stick, and he had an empty cage to bury that, and that's put us up 4-1. And feeling pretty good, right? I think. For the second Friday night in a row, though, the PRC was like, "Wow, this is pretty cool."
Yeah.
And Chatham's good. They're not going to go away. They're a strong team. They're deep. They're strong. They came right back, made it 4-2 on a power play, I believe. I think that was the kind of a set play. I thought it was right off the draw. Just they had the winger off to the side of the circle there, and right off the draw, won the draw, boom, quick shot, a little bit of screen in front. So it made it 4-2. And then, as the period started to wind down there in the third, the Maroons pulled the goalie, and we got the empty netter. Oliver Lacko got his 5th and, sealed the deal at 5-2. Great defensive game by the Lynx. They only gave up 23 shots to the Maroons, which I thought was really good. It's kind of very similar to the Cambridge game. They didn't give away real good scoring chances. And against a team like Chatham, that is so tough. They have so many guys, 3 lines deep. They were missing Richter and another top forward as well, which makes a difference. But they're so deep.
Yeah,
Richter can't rest. You can't take a shift off.
I love watching Richter after what he did in the playoffs last year against you guys. But I was impressed how you guys shut down Zanuto and Chadwick. Like, Zanuto's leading the West in scoring with 21 goals, and then Chadwick's 5th in the West with 17 goals. But Halser, what did you see at the PRC Friday night?
Well, first thing you mentioned Zanuto, and we were talking about him on my side as well, how he got a scoring opportunity, and it was a beautiful play. 4 or 5 minutes into the third period, but that was the first really we could remember him having the puck. They shut him right down, and that is a kid who's already got 20 goals. So I agree. I mean, I think statistically the Lynx now are the best defensive team in the Western Conference, and they look really good doing it. They've got everybody's hot. I mean, one of the real surprises for me is Colebrook. Colebrook is just playing lights out, and he brings so much game. It's not just the goals with Colebrook. He forechecks. He can take the face off. He plays a heavy game. He's a big, thick kid, and he's been making good impressions since day one, and he's just playing fantastic right now. All of a sudden, Weir's got 9 goals. Lacko's got 5 already. He's only been around 3 weeks.
Yeah.
The puck's starting to go in the net. and that makes us a very dangerous team right now. And it's junior and it's early December, and you want to be careful that you don't get too far ahead of yourself. But I mean, ever since that 4-0 loss to Listowel, they walked into Elmira and played a really good game and lost in overtime. And then after that, they beat Cambridge, they beat Chatham twice, and they've looked good doing it all 3 games. So clearly, whatever happened up in Listowel 3 weeks ago has been addressed, because they've got everybody rowing the boat in the same direction. It's a lot of fun to watch, like Chess said.
Well, and then you guys just got to add to the stable as well, Chester. Tell us a little bit what you know about Callum McCauley, the 19-year-old guy you just picked up, left-handed forward from Timmins, who was playing with the Sioux Thunderbirds of the NOJHL.
Yep. Looks like he's a bit of a scoring machine. 98 points in 98 games over the last couple seasons with them. Saw him last night, obviously for the first time. Very fast. Not a big kid, about 170, 5'10", 170. Not super big, but in this league you don't have to be big. It does help some nights, but there's a lot of speedsters and skill in this league. So he's fitting right in. He had he had a goal last night in Chatham, which was great, and then he had three or four other scoring chances where looks like he's going to fit in nicely offensively. And they had him on the 4th line last night. I think they'll bounce him around a little bit, but it gives them so much depth now. And the couple moves they made over the last 3-4 weeks have really kind of solved those depth issues that we maybe talked about back in September and October. So I'm interested to see how it goes. I want to see some more of them, but so far so good.
Yeah, you picked up Lacko. You picked up the defenseman staying at your place. Sorry, what's his name?
Camden Keene.
And then
he's been a great ad, Razor. Sorry, Razor. He's been such a good ad. I think he may be with McGregor 1 and 2 for sure. If he's not their best defenseman, he's their second best one for sure. I'm not sure. Chess will talk nice about him because he's got to have dinner with him. But at the same time, I love his game. He skates well. He's got a great first pass. He's big. He's strong. He's physical. He's smart. He thinks the game well. I like everything about this kid's game.
So tell us what happened there on Sunday. Halser, you were saying that you think de Blasi may have pulled something. He didn't even dress on Sunday last night. What happened there after the second period on Friday?
Well, it was late in the second period, and I the details are a little fuzzy because it didn't look. It might have been Lacko that went into the net, and the goalie went down. And there was a delay. Chatham was definitely looking for a penalty. He finished the period, but then he didn't come back out. They put Kukla in for the third period. Now, if you've got a pulled goalie, most of the time the goalie who's pulled is going to sit on the bench, but he never came back to the bench. And so that, I wonder if there's a problem there. Did he hurt his leg or something? When like I said, and it was at the other end of me, the tie up.
It's hard to tell. He finished, once they pulled him, there was not a chance to really see him stretch in or do anything. Once he got to the bench there, he just kind of stayed there. So he didn't go off to the dressing room and go see the trainer or nothing. So it's hard to know. He wasn't there last night in Chatham. So.
And so what happened last night in Chatham? You had Kukola starting the game, but it looks like he got chased at.
He got chased after the third goal again, first period. And they went to Blake Verburn, who played really well, actually, when he did come in. So, they got some goalie depth there. They're obviously a good team. So, but, I thought Sunday we were much better than we were, even though the score was a little closer. I thought us as a team played a better game for more, probably 45 to 50 minutes, a lot stronger than, whereas in the first period in St. Mary's. Had its ups and downs, but Sunday night, the boys went down to 4-1, and they came out flying. 45 seconds in, Devin Colebrook again got him on the board, right? Got his 9th of the season. Yeah. He's hot. And speaking of hot, Ethan Weir was right there again. Another couple minutes later, put them up 2-0, and we're not even 5 minutes in the game, and we're up 2-0 on the road, right? And it's hard to make that barn quiet, but we did for a little while, which was kind of nice. And, after that, Lincoln Moore made it, did it a 3 On the third goal. Yeah, that's when they chased Kukola and they brought in Verburn. So, and then the Maroons, they regrouped. They're not going to go away, and they had a really good second period. And then, that's just shortly after that, McCauley got his first as a Link. That was 4 minutes into the second, and put the Lynx up by 3 again. But the Maroons came back. Tons of power plays. We gave them so many power plays last night. I think it was 7-4 penalties. But Chatham, they're usually deadly on the power play, but the Lynx did a great job last night. It was almost like they didn't get the goals on the penalty kill like they have in the past with Lee and Spagnola, but Hodgkinson and Vortman were unbelievable on the penalty kill last night. They just pressured. Chatham couldn't get set up. And then we kill one off, and then 2 minutes later we get another one. And it was just like, oh my gosh, guys, you can't keep playing with fire. But they survived it, and it was a good test for them on the road too, right? To go back down there and shut them down like that was pretty awesome. And Chatham chipped away. What was it? The Maroons fought back to get it to 4-3. Then Declan Reddy had a beautiful pickoff in the neutral zone, went in for a breakaway, put the Lynx up 5-3. That was a huge goal right before the end of the second. And then third period, the Lynx put the defensive gear on again, and some more great penalty kills by Hodgie and Vortman. Chatham did get one to make it 5-4 with about 10 minutes to go. But yeah, that was it. They couldn't get the tying goal. The Lynx held them off. They pulled the goalie just around the 2-minute mark. But they didn't get any good chances. And Calhoun was solid, but again, we only gave up 26 shots in a road game in Chatham. That tells you a lot. The defensive game right now is really shining, and they're going to need that when they play Stratford on Thursday night, because we know the way they play. It's defensive. So we got to come out and play the same way. Don't give them anything too good, and try and make the most of our chances. So should be a dandy.
I was talking to Clarkey there just before we brought you on, and he's looking at it the same way as you guys are. Like, this is like basically playoff mode, because they've got you guys, and then they've got London, and the Listowel there on the Sunday. And so they got 3 strong games coming at them this weekend, and so he's looking forward to it. And you guys are one of the hottest teams. Like Halser had said, you end up losing in Listowel and have a tough OT loss in Elmira, but you guys have just been on a heater, like taking down the top team in the conference back to back, and with all these pickups, and just from what I'm reading and the highlights that I see on 519, like, I'm excited. There's a lot of people that have been waiting for this, and so Thursday night it's going to be pretty exciting. But what have the guys, what has Coach Bradley and the team been saying to you, Halser? What are their thoughts on Thursday's game?
Well, I don't talk to too many of them. I have talked to Bradley on a few occasions, and he's a really hockey focused guy. You got to think quick and move quick when you're talking to Brad. His brain moves 100 miles an hour, but he loves the challenge. He loves playing teams that are well coached. And so that for him, it's like a chess match. This is a top level game, not just between 2 good teams, but between 2 top level coaches, arguably 2 of the best in the conference defensively. Both these guys are absolute studs at training their team to play solid defensive hockey. They're both quick. They both play quick. One maybe attacks more than the other, but other than that, they're practically a mirror image. And they're also 2 of the hottest teams in the conference. So, we'll try not to look forward past, St. Stratford as we look forward to the St. Thomas game Friday night. But, we'll give them a game anyways, I would assume.
Chess, what are you hearing from the Lincolns coaching and fan base? What are they expecting with Stratford coming in on Thursday?
Yeah, the expectations are it's going to be another tough hockey game. We know they're a good team. There's nobody taking this for granted at all. The rivalry is always good. There's not a ton of guys around from, the last couple of years, but there's enough guys to make it juicy. And, I think it's going to be a great game. But I think, the biggest thing is they're not overlooking it. And they're just adding this to the pile. The last 2 weeks have been brutally tough, right? And then this is just part of that. They got to take care of business here because they got to, they do have a weaker opponent coming up after that where they can maybe take a breath, but you really can't in this division. If you take the night off against Kamoka or St. Thomas, you're going to take it. So, it's just another, it's unfortunate it's a Thursday night instead of a Friday night. Hopefully it doesn't affect the crowd too much, but I think most people will travel. It's not a tough drive for you guys.
Yeah, as long as it's not snowy, I think the PRC should be pretty full. Maybe not Game 7 Sutherland full, but it should be a pretty good crowd, I would expect. Yeah, you guys got Stratford in on Thursday night, and then you guys go to St. Thomas on Friday. Schenker, you're coming over on Thursday night. What are your thoughts about the big game coming up?
Well, I don't want any bulletin board material going up, but I'm going to take the over at 5.5.
Who are you taking? Who are you taking on Thursday night, Schenker?
Give me the Lincolns.
Oh,
home ice. It's a smaller rink. It's going to be. I think Stratford has the better goaltending. It's just St. Mary's is a bit deeper right now.
They look good. I'm not gonna lie. It's everything that I'm seeing and reading, and you guys are just getting better and better. It seems each and every game, Chester, and so really looking forward to this. We're gonna have a lot of fun. I've been putting polls on our socials today, so it'll be interesting the results that we're gonna get there. But always a pleasure, Chester. We're looking forward to seeing you on Thursday. We'll definitely be talking about this next week on the show. We'll have you and Clarkie in together. We can go over Thursday night's game, and can't wait for Thursday to come up on the schedule, brother.
Oh, absolutely, boys. We will see you Thursday. Have a great night, and the dogs are up. All right, boys. Right. I'm going to go. Have a good one.
All right. Chris Chussell with Chester's Perch. We'll be back with Dave Graff waiting in the wings with Chew on That.
Chew on That with Graffer. Brought to you by Work Pub and Eatery. Get a taste of tradition and charm in our family-run pub. From hearty dishes to cold drinks, we've got everything to make your visit memorable. Located at 75 Wellington Street, Stratford.
Yes, guy. We got Dave Graff in the house. Oh, you're muted, buddy.
Who's the new guy?
Yeah, that's right. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Yeah.
What's going on, Graffer? You got a big topic to talk about? Before we do that, what year is, I'm assuming it's your boys team there in the background.
I want to talk a bit on minor hockey, so I just threw that up there. I think that was from 2000 and I don't know, maybe 12, 13 maybe. Schmidt and I took them down to Detroit to that Motown tournament.
Nice.
Where they got to play a game in the Joe and whatnot. So, yeah, and I love the picture you got there, Razor. I could probably name all those guys. I'm just too old to see them all.
Yeah. Yeah, I can look out of the way, but I was telling Clarkie when we were talking about the picture, guys like Nelson Emerson and Warren Bullock and all these guys that are coming back for the 40th anniversary reunion in July. So it's going to be pretty fun.
That's awesome. You're doing that. That's a great.
Who's the goalie with Derek Kerr on the right hand side?
Right.
You could use the free haircuts back then, Razor.
That was back when I used to carry a comb, but not anymore.
Whipped out the comb at the Kent. Keep the hairstyle in case the girl showed up, right?
Exactly. Had to make sure that feather was all perfectly parted, and had the mullet going on. Oh yeah. What's his Barry Melrose mullet going on? So
yeah, that's awesome. No, I wanted to bring up, been talking to a lot of parents lately, and the little background here is last December they announced they're opening up borders, like even right down to the house league level. And Shanker, you might be involved with it with kids involved. I mean, girls hockey's always been open, but now they've done it for the boys. And I want to back the bus up a bit and talk about, chronologically here, like, Razor Halls when we played. I mean, you guys were 3 years ahead of myself, but back then, I mean, it was open and shut. You played for your hometown. I mean, it was hard for in the elite to go play AAA back then. Sometimes they could pull some strings, I think, and maybe go play in Waterloo, but I don't even think that was until the kids much younger than we were. And I was fortunate to play on a team that was just loaded, and we won 3 OMHAs in a row and an OHF and Major Pee Wee, and it was just, you played for your own town, and just the bonding, and everybody, it was all your buddies. Like, they were your buddies at school, the ones that went to Avon School, the ones that went to Juliet, whatever, they all hung out.
Yeah.
That's what you did, and a lot played soccer together in the summer, baseball together in the summer. And I think it was the second year, just on a personal level. I mean, I think it was Schmidt's dad, like our buddy Kevin Smith. It was his dad, Ernie, coached us there, I think, in the minor Pee Wee year. And, I was fortunate enough to actually get ice time and overtime and score the winning goal at the Almond on Easter Sunday to win the All-Ontario.
Oh, wow.
And just just awesome, right? And then, I go home, and funny, I go home that day, and my mom ran over the dog, killed the family dog coming to the hockey.
Geez.
She's backing out of the driveway.
Oh,
And but at the end of the day, that day, we all go out to Mother's Pizza, who was our sponsor, and fill our face with pizza and root beers till the cows came home, right? And it was just awesome times. And then the next year we won the OHFs, and I was a third line player. Chess was on that team. Chess and I were line mates with a kid named Jimmy Lawrence, dynamite hockey player.
yeah.
And Chess and I didn't see a third period in a close game, but that was the way. Ernie Smith was a guy that played everybody evenly, and Tommy Fairburn was a guy that didn't. And bless Tommy Fairburn, he's a great coach. Good, like, he won, right? And
Sure.
so there's different ways you could win, but you all played with your buddies, and it was all, and then you fast forward to when our kids started, mine anyways, and they brought that NRP rule in 15 years ago, I think it was, where kids could come and from outside of town, and you could have 3 per team as an NRP, right? Non-whatever residential player. And, that seemed like, okay, makes sense. Make teams a little stronger. Give a kid from Mitchell, a kid from a smaller center, a chance to play single A, double A hockey instead of B or C or whatever, right?
Right.
And I think that worked really well. And now that they've opened it up, and I'll just go through a couple things here. I just kind of searched why they opened it up, and a lot of it is the demand of the parents. They just want that flexibility to take their kid to a better center, to get, maybe if a kid's not strong enough for his own center, he can go play without restrictions in a smaller center, that kind of thing. So I get why, I kind of understand the reasons they did open it up, I guess, but I'm just under the impression that the kids develop better, play in your hometown, play with your buddies. And I think what I'm getting at here is, we've all heard a lot of stuff in the news about when the kids get to the age that Clarkie and Chess report on with kids that age, and especially in major junior hockey. These AAA kids nowadays, they got agents at 11 years old, right? Like, their parents right now, and from October onward, they're already scheming and planning on where they're playing next year. Not even enjoying the now, because they're so freaking worried about where their kid's going to play next year, whether it's back on the team he's on, or whether, he's going to get paid to play in Toronto, and all those teams down there, they're bought and sold for millions of dollars now. Minor hockey, AAA organizations.
Crazy.
There's just no bonding, no year to year, like we had when we were kids, where you played with your buddies, and there's always a few parts coming in and changing in that. But and I did a little digging, compared it to another hockey power, Sweden, and they're trying it the other way to promote the club level. You start with a club, and you grow up with that club all the way up to junior, maybe even to pro if you're that good, right? And their theory behind that is to develop the kid off the ice, develop the person in the kid. And I think we lose that a little bit in Canada with By the time that some of those kids get to major junior, they're told how great they are. They're the man, right? As they should be. Not any one of us, if we played major junior hockey, we would have wanted to be that guy too, right? But you hear some of the horror stories. I'm not going to get into it, but you hear some of the horror stories of the hazing and getting in trouble with the law for certain things and all that. I think we got to rewind it to back when they are 11 and 12. Not worry so much about having player agents and nutritionists and where you're going to play year to year. Worry about developing the kid and the person in the kid, right? And I don't think we, my opinion, again, just my opinion, I don't think we get that by just having wide open borders. I think we're just further creating potential trouble for kids down the road when they get into that, when the elite kids get into that major junior level. I mean,
well, you brought up a good point. Like, I remember, like, Halser and I grew up playing minor hockey together, and he went to Avon, I was at Bedford, and you were with your buddies though. Like, when you were out on the tarmac playing foot hockey, you were talking about the Woodstock early bird tournament and, or the St. Thomas early bird and the Woodstock, tournament. And my favorite one was in Major Adam, the Kitchener Bauer tournament, Bauer Kraut. Because Bauer sponsored it, and you got Bauer skates and sticks, and like it was just over the top.
Oktoberfest time, wasn't it?
Yeah, Oktoberfest. Yeah, the KW Oktoberfest, and those were great memories. And I'm not taking anything away from AAA, but when all of a sudden the Lakers came into play. And now you had it's a little bit different with the older kids now being based out of Stratford. But back when the Lakers first started and you had to drive to Goderich for practices, like I've got some buddies who ended up going and doing that. And a couple of them have said, I wish I didn't do it because I was picking up my kid at 4:00 at school to go practice in Goderich. And we were getting home at 10:00. And when he's on the school tarmac the next day, his buddies don't give a shit, that he was in Chicago for a tournament or, Detroit or whatever. Like, you're not going to Woodstock and Cambridge and these close ones. You're spending huge dollars going to big cities, traveling, taking Fridays off work, off school. Like, it's a totally different animal. And I remember Joe Hishin saying to me that when his son Joey had a chance to go AAA, they were all over him. He was in minor bantam, and Joe said, "Why would I want my kid? I got to drive him to Goderich for practice." He said he's getting double shifted in AA minor bantam here in Stratford. He's the first call up for AA major bantam when they needed a guy. Power play, penalty killing. He said, "What is AAA going to offer except I got to spend more time and money away from my family, and my daughter who was playing volleyball?" And he said, like, it just didn't make any sense. Like, my kid was playing as much as he possibly could by playing in Stratford. And like I said, I'm not knocking AAA hockey, but it just made no sense to him to have to drive an hour each way just for a game or a practice. And he said, I would rather have my son be a big fish in a small pond than a little fish in a big pond.
In a bigger pond, yeah. And I think with that being said, Ray, they're very good points. Now you fast forward from what that would have been, early, mid 2000s ish with Joey, probably 5-6. Now you fast forward another 20 years. I think it makes sense to have AAA wide open, but not the double A's and the single A's. Limit it with some kind of NRP system that we had, even a reverse NRP where if 4 kids come into Stratford and make the team and I'm one of the ones cut, okay, I can still go play in Mitchell or Tabby or whatever I choose. Like, still have some kind of that, but keep the lower levels more to your home center still. But again, that's just my opinion. And with the mental health month coming up in January, even at the AAA level, my only thing I plead is develop the kids' behavioral patterns and structure, and we got to find something to work on. I don't anywhere I read or look into, I don't see where there's any of those programs established, kind of the off the ice things to develop the kid, and so that they're not that quote shithead when they're an
Yeah.
18, 19-year-old kid playing major junior, and you hear about a lot of the horror stories off the ice that are swept under the carpet, blah, blah, blah. Again, we're not going to get into that, but
Right.
that's my opinion. Just keep the AAA open if you want to, but develop the kids. Develop the kids' behavioral as much as the hockey, in my opinion. I don't know how you guys feel about that. But
Shanker, what have you seen? It's a little bit different with girls. You know, it's wide open with them, but they're, for the most part, they're not as competitive as the boys. But what have you seen being a parent and coaching?
Well, girls are competitive too. Like if you get cut or you don't like a situation, there's every year girls are flip-flopping to different organizations like Wilmot, St. Mary's. Like if the Aces don't have a double A team, girls are going to bolt to where there's a Kitchener team or whatever to play that double A. But going back to your triple A story, last year my son and I stopped in at the Marlboro tournament in Christmas in Toronto to watch it, and I was standing there, and the guy was shooting the shit with the guy, and he's, "Oh, you're from Stratford?" I said, "Oh, yeah." And he goes, I said, "Oh, where are you from?" He goes, "Oh, I'm from Tillsonburg." And meanwhile, like we're waiting for Huron Perth to play, and I was watching Mississauga Centers and Halton Hills. I'm like, "All right, does your nephew play?" He goes, No, my son plays for Mississauga." I said, "You're from Tillsonburg?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "He got plucked 2 years ago to come play in Mississauga and this and this." And he told me the horror stories of he hates it. I'm like, "Well, how do you do for practices?" He goes, "Well, I own my own business, so I'm allowed to leave whenever I want." And I'm like, "So you're down here 3 times a week for practice?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "This is the last year." And this is in December. And he says to me, "Oh, next year he's going to play for the London Knights." So he would have been major midget this year. So I'm just shaking my head going,
Wow.
"Are you freaking kidding me, man?"
That's
But
crazy.
like, it's like he
Well,
pretty much
you
said to
nailed it,
me they
Shanker.
promised him all this stuff and it
Yeah.
never happened.
And like
And
you
sure,
said,
he's
you
getting
already
a little
know.
bit of extra money and free
Yeah.
equipment, but parents buy into it and they just get roped in, and it's
And
sad, man.
he already knew halfway through the year where he's playing next year, right? Like
Exactly.
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
what I don't know.
Also, I don't think
Anyway.
you missed being on the tarmac at Avon School with Dean Simpson and Shane Kelly and all the boys when we were playing minor
Hey, those
hockey.
guys.
What were
Hey,
those
just so
years
you're
like?
aware, those guys scared the heck out of me. They're 3 years older. I stayed away from Halls and those guys. I wasn't going near them. I would have been in my head first in the
Oh,
snowbank.
you're muted, buddy.
Oh, jeez.
Rain or snow, we played to win. I mean, that was the 70s. Remember, like there were no participation trophies. There was only he who is bleeding the least wins.
Yeah.
But you know what? I've been through this on several levels. I went through it. It amazes me how much more intense the hockey is than other sports. I went through it with basketball. Before my kid played football, he was an elite level basketball player. And he was playing in Stratford, playing for the Revolution, playing for Central High School. And then he just up and said to me, "There's a team in Milton," which is where I was living. "There's a team in Milton. It's a top 10 team in the province. Can I go run with them, try a practice?" I'm like, "Well, how are you going to pull that off?" "I can play for whoever I want." So it was a routine. And that is, I think we're talking 12 to 15 years ago now, where guys were trying out for 5, 6, 7 different teams every fall. Mississauga, Oakville, Burlington, and they each had 2 or 3 teams, the Milton squads, the Oakville squads. It was huge down there. And so he made the team, and it was just the same thing. It's like, but it was nothing like the hockey. I lived in Milton, and they practiced every day, but basketball only practices in season. So it was practices every day, but it was only during the season. The guys they're not like hockey. They don't play all bloody year. You know, when he left basketball and went to football, he was even more concentrated because it was about 3 weeks of practice and then maybe a 3-month truncated season. Boom, he's done. Like, what do you do now? You hit the gym. That was the only thing football guys did between seasons. They don't go driving hours for practices. They don't do the same drills a million bloody times. They learn how to play football. Then they stop playing football and rest their bodies and work on other parts, go to the gym, get educated, and then come back during football season. The fact that hockey has these kids running around 12 months a year, to me, is just insane. There's two guys that I can think of who know a little bit about hockey. One is Wayne Gretzky, and another one is Bobby Orr, and they both say the same thing. I never played hockey in the summer. Well, no, I played for my local team. I mean, Gretzky played for Brantford. He scored 363 goals. He didn't do it for Mississauga. He did it for Brantford.
Yeah.
And so the
And
tried
they
and
played
true
lacrosse and
works.
baseball in the summer.
But I feel bad for parents having spent a year with the Mid-Ontario Bearcats in baseball. I mean, you have to go somewhere and put your kid in front of people who are going to see them. You feel that pressure. You feel absolutely compelled. I saw it ad infinitum when I was with an elite baseball program where people were just, well, there was a woman from Woodstock who didn't care what we thought of her kid. She was dropping dime all winter long, $300 on a bat, $400 on a glove. The dude was, okay. So a lot of elite programs, there's guys that they add and they called budget balancers. They're not going to play big minutes, big innings, big whatever. They just, somebody's got to fill out the roster. Somebody's got to be a fourth liner. Somebody's got to be a backup catcher. And those a lot of times are the parents that are getting sucked in for $5, $6, $8, $10,000, and God knows how much of their time to go do this for a kid who is number 12 on his team. So I get when people want to do it, but if you're not a standout athlete at whatever you're doing, at every level you're doing it, then you probably should play with your friends.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well,
And
nowadays
ahead,
they have all these little baseball camps and hockey camps throughout the year in different cities to promote your kid. And that's why I like the Joey Hishon story. Stay home. He still got drafted to the OHL.
Yeah, in the first round.
That's what, yeah.
And the NHL.
So
first round to the NHL.
Scouts are going to find you, and word travels fast if you're good. So why spend the money? Stay and play with your buddies.
100%. If you are good enough, they will find you.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, parents are paying that money just so they can say, "Oh, my kid's playing AAA," or "Oh, my kid's playing for an elite baseball program."
The point I made to that lady from Woodstock, I said, you know what? 4 years of elite baseball would pay for 1 year of university.
Yeah, for sure it would.
True that. True that. Yeah. Well, it's even reached the Canadian Hockey League levels, because something unheard of, at least I've never seen it before in my lifetime, is you've got a potential number 1 pick overall in June's draft, Gavin McKenna, who ended up losing in the finals of the Memorial Cup last year, playing for Medicine Hat Tigers. They lost to the London Knights there in the finals last spring, and he bolted Medicine Hat. Rumors are that he's been given a $750,000 NIL contract by Penn State University. And so it's big money now. But, you know, for every Gavin McKenna, there's thousands and thousands of kids that should just be playing with their buddies at Avon School, at Bedford School, right, at the Alman Arena. You know, like it's to me, I agree 100% with you three guys. If you're good enough, they'll find you. And I don't think you need to, I don't know. I would never say don't go and play AAA. I'm just saying that it's not as necessary as one might think.
No. And if you're that good, you're going to go.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. And like I said, I go back to develop the kids too, develop the person in the kid. We need to make that a better priority.
Yeah.
I think, like hockey-wise.
Like AAA, is it better sport? Absolutely it is. But how many kids do you see, like even kids that play AA hockey, you know what, they end up saying, screw it, and ban them and go back to play house league with their friends.
Yeah.
So,
for sure. Like I said, it is important to play up to your competition. But like I said, don't get delusions of grandeur unless you really, really know what you have. And, you know, when I went through it with my kid, you thought you saw something, and I was that dad where I was hoping I saw something, but it wasn't until he was, how old was he? He was 17 when he finally played football. And then he got good at it. And then he went to Western and then won the Natty. So it wasn't even until that kid was 17 years old before we even figured out what sport he was playing.
Yeah.
A lot of kids that are the best player on their 11U team get cut from their 15U team because they don't grow.
Yeah.
I think 11's too early to figure out whether your kid is an elite athlete. You got to wait, at least find out if he's going to be big enough to play at the highest level.
Exactly.
I agree.
Last words, Graffer?
Yeah, again, with January, I think being Mental Health Awareness Month, and I'm not sure what Bell Canada Day is this year, but I just think it's important now to, you know, we're in the dead of winter. Kids are playing hockey everywhere. Let's not forget about the kids and making sure they're all right mentally, and, you know, let's do the right thing. And, you know, I know the borders are open now, but I still think it's key that you play in your hometown if that's the best option. I know the three of us and Shanker, I know we all had fun doing it. I wouldn't trade. Those are those are my best childhood memories by not even close, right? The hockey, the baseball.
To your point though, Graffer, we were never thinking about next year.
No,
we never thought about next year. We weren't thinking about next week. We were just enjoying the moment, man. And I hope that's the message that a lot of kids take from this. Just enjoy the moment, man. Next thing you know, you're going to be one of us old buggers sitting in front of the iPad, telling off young people.
Don't worry about where you're playing next year. Like, I know when we won the OHFs in '84, it was Easter weekend, and the first ball tryout with none other than Mud Grasby as the coach was the next day. We didn't think about hockey again until the Beacon posted the tryouts for early October in the fall. That's when we thought about hockey again, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways.
That team that you see behind here, there was not one guy played summer hockey. There wasn't one guy, I guarantee, that skated before late August. Yeah. That's when we used to put the ice in at the Almond. And so you don't need to be playing – your kid doesn't need power skating and playing summer hockey in order to go to the top level. He just needs to have that drive. And, you know, in closing, when someone says, do you think my kid's got talent to, you know, make it? The first question I ask him, what does he do in his free time? Is he out in the driveway shooting pucks? Well, sometimes. And I said, well, there, you have your answer right there. Yeah, if he has it in him. I remember Joey Hishin. Joe used to say to me, he had such a drive and desire to perfect saucer passes, backhand, forehand. He would practice it in their garage because he wanted that suction sound when the puck would hit the ground so that the puck wouldn't wobble. He wanted it to land perfectly so that when the guy could one-time it. And he got that good, right? But it wasn't Joe Sr. telling him to go and do it. It was Junior because he had the drive and desire to do it. That's not something that you can teach a kid. It's either in them or it's not.
If your kid's sitting in the gamer chair beside Mikey Nechtel gaming all the time, he ain't going anywhere.
Right, playing Sega Genesis. So
you know what? It's funny you mention that, Razor, because someone said to me once, like we were talking about my kid and where he went. It's like, so what's your secret? And I went, secret? You think I have a secret? I'll tell you what my secret is. Find out you have a kid who has his own inner engine and just make sure you get him there on time. That's all I did was get him there on time and pay for it, pick up the puddles when he'd lose the big game, but it's all on them. It's all on the kid.
Yeah.
Your kid will let you know if you've got that kid.
They got to want to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
All right, guys. Great discussion. Graffer, thanks for bringing that up. And as always, thanks to 40 and the boys at work for their support with us. So
thanks for the discussion, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Our pleasure. Dave Graff would chew on that. We'll be back with final thoughts.
Railside Organics, Stratford's first and only Indigenous owned and operated organic dispensary, located at 29 Monteith Avenue, serving those in need with holistic remedies. Come say hi to Curly and his staff and see why everyone is recommending Railside Organics. Call Bick Heating and Cooling for all your heating, cooling, and plumbing needs. Proud Rude Pro partner. BickHeatCool.com or 226-921-4848. Your home team specialists. Taking care of Stratford and area since 2013. Veld Painting, servicing Stratford and surrounding area. With over 20 years of experience to help you with all your painting and decorating needs, on time and on budget.
Just wanted to give a shout out to Nick Hishin with Indy Mortgage for his constant support and participation with Buzzing with Clarko. Nick Hishin, Indy Mortgage, access to over 50 lending options. He works for you, not the banks. Call Nick Hishin for a quote on a new or refinancing options. And the Hers, Kellen and Melissa Herr from the Boathouse Stratford. We really appreciate them as well. So awesome show, boys. We've come to another conclusion, and looks like we'll be looking at each other. Schenker, you've taken the St. Mary's side, so you've drawn your sword, but it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that Thursday. So what about you guys?
If nobody has anything going on, get your ass to St. Mary's on Thursday night.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Halser?
Well, it's been a busy show, but I wanted to give a shout out to Jeff Kent, former Toronto Blue Jay World Series winner in 1992, getting put into the Hall of Fame in the, what do they call that? The veterans category or whatever. I thought the voters got it right, getting him in. All-time leader in home runs by a second baseman.
Wow.
That, as far as I'm concerned, that should be an auto include. I was a little disappointed that Delgado didn't get in. I know he's a borderline guy, but I just remember sometimes it's not just about how many home runs you hit, but like what they look like when you hit them. And I remember that they reinforced glass on Windows Restaurant because he kept pounding baseballs off of the glass on the other end of the Sky Dome, man. I remember the one time my buddy and I were sitting behind the plate. He hit one so far, about 30 feet up on the Windows Restaurant, right at the top of those windows, man. And I've never seen a baseball hit that far in my life. So shout out to Jeff Kent, and shout out to the writers getting it right and giving 4 votes to Bonds and Clemens. And they're not eligible again until 2031. And if they don't get 5 votes on that one, then they're gone. And they can only get in posthumously. So you got it right on both counts, writers, as far as I'm concerned.
All right. Schenker, any last words or?
No, it was a great night. A lot of good topics, and I'm sure we could go on for another hour here.
Yeah, definitely. So, all right. For Ian Schenk and Brian Hawley, I'm Gary Ray. Thanks for tuning in to episode 10 of the Unmuzzled Sports Podcast. We'll see you Thursday in the PRC.
Hey, guys.